And a pleasant Saturday morning to you, and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We are so glad to have you with us, and welcome. Just ahead, author Rick Schaefer and his book, An Incredible Decade of Speed and Indy. It's a new track record. It's a great book. We just had a little conversation with him before we went on the air, and great guy. You're going to really enjoy this interview. Jeff has Car Culture. His feature this week is going to be on four-wheel steering.
Yep.
Do they even make it anymore?
Yeah.
Mars has Off the Beaten Path, karting around the Houston area. That's Karting, not carding. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us for our live version of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. All right. Jeffrey, how have you been?
Good. We're like the black shirt gang this week. I had a wardrobe malfunction. My blue shirt was interfering with the internet, so we all went black. So there you go. But good. It's been a good week.
Once you go back, you never go back. That's what I heard.
Yep. Hey, went to Space Center Houston this past week, and it was awesome. If you're in Houston or if you're coming to Houston, you need to go see it. It is incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mr. Mars, you survived the rains over there?
Yes, we did. We're starting to dry out a little bit.
Well, that's going to change again here.
So is it the whole county's going dry or just your city?
No, just this kind
It's
of
just the
two-block
Mars
area.
household. That's what it is.
We're all going dry over here.
Well, let's get to our guest, shall we? He's been sitting around doing nothing, waiting for us to start the show, and let's just get right to it. His name is Rick Schaefer, and the book is It's a New Track Record, Decade of Speed, Indy 62 to 72. What a great decade. I don't know how you came up with that, but talk about a decade of speed. Let's talk about a decade of change. You go from front engine to rear engine, and my God, everything really changed in that decade, Rick.
Well, actually, there's a story behind how I came up with this idea. It isn't my idea. When my first book came out in 1999 on the first 20 years of the IndyCar series, and after I came out, a photographer friend of mine named Steve Stott, he said, "Hey, if you think you want to do another book, I got a great idea for you." And I said, "Well, what's that?" And he said, "Well, think of the years 62 to 72 and all the interesting cars, drivers, and teams that came through during that era." And I thought, that's a great idea. Well, unfortunately, Steve passed away in 2009, but I thought if I get this book written and get it published, I'm going to dedicate it to Steve. That's exactly what I've done.
So, you know what, the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to that decade, Andy Granatelli, the STP team. Remember that?
Yeah. He was actually in 62, he brought the Novi back for the first time since the 50s. And they didn't make the race that year, but that's where he started out with Novi's, and then he brings, he had the first successful Terman cars, and of course that Dayglow orange color they painted their cars, that was, they stood out. It was just, he was an incredible showman, and it was neat that, he was a major part of this era. So,
Well, I'll never forget the team colors, those white kind of jumpsuit things with STP stickers all over them.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody had the STP stickers on your toolbox and on your notebooks and binders everywhere.
They look like
this was a wearable.
They look like gas station attendants.
No, they based them on, actually, that was the kind of short sleeve coverall that the European teams were wearing, but they just put their logo all over it. Andy himself, he had a regular suit made with entirely covered.
Yeah, sure did.
So, so we understand how you got to write the book, but this isn't your first book, from what I understand.
Right, this is my fourth book on racing. So I after the current book, I got to co-author the Autocourse History of the 500 with Donald Davidson, and then my most recent book was, I always thought it'd be neat to do a book just with nothing but nondescript stories that weren't widely known, because so many of the 500 books have the same stories over and over again, same photos. So then I had an outfit called Coastal 181, published 500 on the Indy 500. And then, of course, this new book is from these people from England, wonderful people named Evro Publishing Limited, and it was my first effort with them, so I've been very happy. They put out a beautiful product. I'd had some of their books before. I have a racing book collection of about 500 copies. So.
Wow.
500 copies. So, in other words, we'll all get one. And
there's been 500 different titles, actually. So.
Oh, I see.
500 different books. Yeah,
that's my library. That's my research center. So.
Well, hey, we're always looking for a freebie. Hey, you're a media guy. You know about that.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, a little bit of background on Rick. He used to work for a very well-known newspaper there in Indianapolis, and he was also part of an Indy team. Tell us about that, Rick.
Well, when I decided it was time to leave my newspaper career, I had a chance to be the public relations director for a team called Bettenhausen Motorsports, and this was run by Tony Bettenhausen. He was the youngest son of the same name driver who was, such a standout in the late 40s and 50s, and I worked 6 years with him, and 4 of the years my driver was an ex-Formula One driver named Stefan Johansson, who's now gone to be the manager of people like Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist. And we had a year with a French-Canadian driver named Patrick Carpentier, and then my last year with the team we had this wonderful Brazilian rookie named Castro Neves, and I always ask people, have you heard of this guy?
Yep.
But we formed a nice friendship from that, and when my previous book, he actually did the foreword. So naturally, when I did this next book, I had to get another full-time lawyer, so I was very blessed to have A.J. Foyt do that, and I told his publicist, I said, he's the only driver still living that was in all those races that I cover in that book, so that kind of put the deal over the top, I think.
Well, I'll tell you, I had the opportunity to actually have lunch with him one time several years ago. And, once you take off the anger and the competitive thing that he's got going on, the aura around him,
that's his
he's
business.
really a nice guy.
Yeah, the thing about Mr. Foyt is how you approach him. And I, being a rather shy person, I decided the best way was to go through the publicist, and that seems to always work. Anytime I've dealt with him, he's just been, extremely, cordial and accommodating. And actually, I'll tell you a little story. I used to write for a now defunct magazine called Vintage Motorsport, and I was doing a story on the 64 500. And so naturally, I had to talk to him because he won the race. And we were at the Houston IndyCar race, and so he was finishing up breakfast. So I go on to his coach, and I said, "Sure, you're finished? Yeah, come on back." And he said, "Do I know you?" And I said, "Well, yeah, AJ, I used to work for the Star with Robin Miller." And he goes, "Well, we've been friends for 30 years, and that just broke the ice." Had a wonderful interview with him. So.
Well, I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised. Really a nice guy, and I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. So let's talk to you about your book. So 62 to 72, 10 years at the Indy 500, and what really surprised you that you would point out to anybody that reads your book? Hey, be sure and check this section out.
Well, actually, overall, if you look at 1962. There were still skeptics that thought it was impossible to go to 150 mile an hour until Parnelli Jones goes out and breaks the track record. And 2 years later, Bobby Marshman had a practice lap at 160, so they jumped 10 miles over what was supposedly impossible. By the end of my era, 72, they're nudging the 200 mile an hour market. I mean, it's just the thing was, it was just, in those 11 races, you had the track record broken 9 times. So Tom Carney, of course, the track announcer, got to utter that famous, "It's a new track record." And, it was just really quite an era for technology. You went from all front engine to rear engine cars by 1969. By 1970, every engine was turbocharged, and there were no limits. They were getting more than 1,000 horsepower, by the early 70s. And then the aerodynamics came into play. And, of course, with that, we also had slick tires for the first time. So, things like that. That's what really made this so special. It was just the different things that happened, and the people, came and went.
So it makes me think of the question, what do you think of today's cars and today's technology? I mean, 240 miles an hour? Seriously? Somebody's going to get killed.
Well, interestingly, they've gotten safer as they've gotten faster. I know it doesn't sound like that'd be right, but, they've come up with a lot of ways. Probably the main thing that helped them safety-wise was when they went to the ground effects, they put the fuel tank behind the driver, so suddenly fire is no longer an issue that had once been. You see a fire in a car, it's usually the oil reserve tanks ignited. And, the materials, the carbon fiber is much better than the aluminum or than the honeycomb aluminum they use for the tubs. The helmets are better, the fire suits are better. And, of course, the Speedway was the first to use this, what they call the safer barrier, which is a really, you wouldn't think that it's cushioning if effect. So when they're hitting the wall, it's not like they're hitting solid concrete, not no give anyway. So, but they've had, and knock on wood, since 1982, they've had 3 fatalities of IndyCar drivers at the Speedway. So we're going on like a 23-year. The last guy that was killed was in a test. A promising rookie named Tony Renna had finished 7th the previous May. This was the fall of 2003, and they haven't had a fatality for an IndyCar driver since at Indianapolis anyway. And this track, there total like 43 drivers lost their lives there over the years. So,
Who was the grumpiest driver that you ever interviewed?
oh boy, that's a good question. I think I was pretty lucky. I didn't really run into a lot of the question is when you talk to this person. I mean, my first autograph was Al Unser when he was a rookie, and I was a little 12-year-old kid, and he talked to my brother and I like we were important. And when I went to the Star and ready to do my first Al Unser feature, I was warned, and now listen, he doesn't see you as a fan like he did when you were a kid. So he didn't like reporters. I think he got burned by a couple of people. So it was not the fun interview I thought it was going to be. But really, I've been really lucky that I haven't had any set twos with drivers. I think I tried to be careful about when to approach them, and in the case of AJ Foyt, your best served going some of them are better when you go through the publicist and said,
Yes.
shoving a microphone in their face and a notebook bothering. So.
Right. Well, I find it fascinating. Tell me about the changes at the Speedway now that the boss has taken over that Speedway, and there have been quite a few changes.
Yeah, we're still in the early part of this. He was really kind of hampered because when he bought the track, then COVID came along. So I'm not really sure all the things he's going to do. Now, I'm 73 years old, and I last 5 years I've gone to the race, not as a journalist, but as a fan again. And my brother and I, we sit on the top row of what they call the Vista stands in turn 4. So that's 44 rows up. And this year they put handrails in the aisles. And boy, for us, that was a wonderful little thing. You would think would be a big deal. It's a big deal to your average fan. But, Roger Penske, of course, he's noted for his immaculate-looking cars and crew guides and transporters. So, the Speedway wasn't really decrepit when he bought it, but, you can just see he's really making extra strides to make it even more professional-looking facility. And I'm biased. I think it's the greatest racing track in the world. So.
I've been there a couple of times, and I have to tell you that thoroughly impressed. And I've been to a lot of racetracks around, but there's something extra special about Indy. And it's a great, big, huge, long track. And if you're going to go pick a seat, well, good luck, because you're not going to see the entire track like so many are today, and that's the way that they're built. But when this thing was built, they didn't have all of the infield stuff going on like they do today to block the view.
Well, actually, they had a lot more trees in the infield than you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the other thing was the grandstands were just single level, so it wasn't until after the war they put the double level grandstands on the front straightaway, and then of course the Vista stand I referred to, they're in all the turns now. They're a lot higher than the other ones ever had been. So, my top row is 44, and then some of them have an overhang with 2 more rows of seats.
Yeah, and they got a golf course.
So the track had to grow around the track, if you will, because the track, the race surface, is pretty much like it was, other than being fixed up and maintained. But it sounds like the track itself grew around that.
What happened actually was when they were planning the track, they wanted to build a 5-mile long circle, and so the property they bought after they hired the engineer after they bought the property, and they get him together and they show him a map that's got their property, and it was 328 acres of farmland, so it was flat, and they told him this is what they want. Well, the problem was the configuration of the property was a mile long going north to south, half-mile wide, east to west. So it's like, do the math. Can you put a 5-mile circle inside a half-mile rectangle? Of course you can. So this engineer seized the moment because he could see these guys are ready to sell this property and start looking elsewhere. And he laid out a 3-mile rectangle. That's the thing. It's not an oval. It's a rectangle with 90-degree rounded corners. And it was a 3-mile track that took up all the room. But then he realized he had not left any room for grandstands. And he said, "You did say you're going to have races, right?" And they said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, I need to shorten the track by 1/2 mile because we need to put the grandstands on the outside of what would be the front straightaway. And that 1/2 mile will give me enough room to do that." And so that's why the track is shaped like it is. And of course, the grandstands, I don't think they envisioned having them almost all the way around the entire track now. Now, the golf course came around in the late 20s. And what was funny was they originally were going to build an infield road course, but Carl Fisher, the main driving force among the founders, decided, let's make this an aviation automotive facility. So for a while, you actually had a runway that went diagonal between turns 1 and 3, and a large building inside of turn 2, which we call a hangar today. They call it Aerodrome. It was the biggest in the world at the time. So, and all that got demolished when the great aviator Eddie Rickenbacker bought the track and puts it in a golf course. So.
Well, a fascinating story. And listen, we could sit and talk to you for at least a day and picking your brain about Indy and the Indy 500 and the cars, the drivers, all of that. But the new book, it's a new track record, 1962 to 72, an incredible decade of speed at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The author, Rick Schaefer. And we certainly appreciate the time that you've spent with us today, Rick, and we wish you the best of luck. And hey, call us anytime, because we can talk to you about the book all we want, but we also like a fellow journalist, and I know that you've got tons of stories to tell.
We could meet him at Indy next year.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll meet you there. You can buy us a hot dog.
Give you a tour. So.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Rick, thanks so much again. Before you leave, I did want to mention to you, this is a tabletop book. Father's Day is coming up. And as you mentioned off the air, Rick, that go to just Google the book or Rick's name, and I'm sure that there are probably a dozen different places that you can get the book, and it would be a great one to have to give away to Dad.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And can I say one quick thing before we leave?
Please do, yes.
Okay, you were mentioning a 4-wheel steering car.
Yes.
Well, Mickey Thompson brought one to the Speedway in 1967, and there's a picture of it on page 153 of the book. So.
Well, there's my segment. Thanks. Just ruined that for me. No, I'm kidding.
All right, Rick. Well, thanks again. We really appreciate you, and best of luck to you in the future, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Hey, just ahead, Jeff's Car Culture, 4-wheel steering, as we just mentioned. Mars has go-kart tracks around Houston, and his driving destinations feature all that and more coming up right after this break on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla. Eats pretty good. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and searching for a fun car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture, Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, so check us out. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon. Time now for 7 racetracks worth visiting.
You got it.
So we looked at 7. I mean, we started looking at racetracks. There's racetracks all over the state, all over the country, different kinds.
But are they still open? That's the question.
Yeah. So this is more of 7 underrated U.S. racetracks that are worth visiting if you really decide you just want to go. Some people go to baseball parks and football stadiums. Go to racetracks. So one of them we want to talk about is Road America. Now this is a classic natural terrain road
Wisconsin.
course.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 4 miles, goes through the hills and forests of Wisconsin. You got a lot of long straights, so you get a lot of speed up, technical corners to make them slow down and try to maneuver around through the laps. But the thing about this track is there's a lot of fan freedom. There's a lot of places the spectators can roam big areas of the track to see it. And because of the elevation and the hills and stuff, you can get up and you can kind of see it. And then it's considered one of the purest road courses in North America. Now, another one I wanted to mention is the Virginia International Raceway. And this one has a lot of elevation changes, which is what makes it kind of work really different from everybody else. You got a lot of places you can get the speed, but they've got flowing corners. It doesn't have the really long, straight speed straightaways to where you're going to get up the maximum speed that you're going to get in a lot of places.
And what's the name of that place?
Virginia International Raceway. Now, it's called VIR. It's just that's kind of the abbreviation for it.
I've heard of that one.
But it's Virginia International Raceway.
VIR, I've heard of VIR.
And it's considered one of the better driving tracks that's in the country. And because people go out there, they feel like it's more like a country club track,
Right.
where everybody's it's not like real media heavy whenever people go out there. Then the other thing is going up to the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Now
That's
this
not
one,
the weather. That's Laguna Seca.
But it's,
WeatherTech is sponsoring
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They're paying them a lot of money to have their name at
Well,
the top
that's
of
then
it.
this
and if you go look at any sign, it says WeatherTech.
WeatherTech.
Anyway,
They're not spending any money with us.
I know it. But it's one of the things that it's famous for is because of it's got a corkscrew turn with a sudden downhill left-right sequence that drops several stories in elevation. So you really kind of drop down on it. Mm-hmm. I've never driven that track. I've seen the signs I drove by.
I've seen races on it.
But it's in the hills near Monterey, California. Got a lot of scenic views, so you get a lot of exciting racing. Fans can sit on the grassy hillsides and watch them, which is one of the things that make these tracks a little different. You're not parked your butt in the stands all day. You can actually get out and enjoy some of the outside of it. Another racetrack is going to be the Sebring International Raceway. It's one of the oldest and toughest circuits in North America, originally built on an old World War II airfield. So it's all got concrete surfaces that can get kind of rough and makes things really challenging for the cars and the drivers because it's going to eat on tires pretty hard as well as the car. Now, this is where you're going to find the 12 Hours at Sebring sometimes. I mean, that's a race that you can go there to see. And it's more like old school racing. So a lot of people like there going to that gritty atmosphere, racing tradition, and you can actually camp there. So if you're really interested in that, it's a really great place to go. It's bumpy, it's brutal, and one of the toughest tracks and for the drivers. The other one, the Barber Motorsports Park.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Wait, I'll skip the Mid-Ohio.
Uh-oh.
Where did Mid-Ohio go? Here it is.
It's in Ohio.
Yeah, it's in Ohio. Mid-Ohio is a technical layout track, and it flows through the wooded hills and elevation changes. And it's holds major series like IndyCar series there. It's kind of a small track, but it's considered to be very technical. Then we'll go to Barber.
Barber
Motorsports Park is considered one of the most beautiful racing facilities. Why did it do that? In the world. The track, it's got a lot of grass, a lot of sculpted places around the circuit to kind of make it look really nice. Kind of a botanical garden area. It's got smooth pavement, flowing corners, so you get a lot of racing for motorcycles there and the cars alike. Actually also has the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum on the site. So you get a combination of the two, including the IndyCar Grand Prix of Alabama. Road Atlanta is the last one that we're going to talk about right quick. It's known for its fast flowing layout, dramatic elevation changes, and got a lot of high speed, steep downhill run. The IMSA Sports Car Championship season runs through there, and they again, fans like the classic feel of it, being able to sit on the grassy hillsides, being able to get to the areas where you can see the cars really well. And that is 7 racetracks that are much underrated and offer opportunities to go and see some different kind of racing and different feels to the track.
And a happy 4th of July to you. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Whew, this thing has got an interior like you wouldn't believe. Here are the available trim levels: the Laredo X, the Laredo Altitude, the Limited Reserve, 85th Anniversary Edition, and the Summit. I happen to have the L for long Summit 4x4. This is a standard SUV. Seat 6 in this particular configuration in 3 rows. You can get a bench seat in the second row if you want, but that does away with the console, and I think I would prefer the 3-row all buckets. Anyway, 5th generation. It was all new in 2021, so it is 5 years old as far as the design is concerned. It is updated this year. Exterior features, one of the best looking SUVs in the market, in my opinion, with a modern 7-slot grille, typical for Jeep. Conservative design throughout the body. Squared off wheel openings contributes to its off-road demeanor. The rear hatch and lighting, very familiar, traditional look. What I liked about it, the overall design, very conservative, but it's ready to go, and I think that if you like conservative designed SUVs, you're going to like this one. What could use improvement? It is ready for a more modern exterior update. Now, some bits and pieces have been actually redone for this particular year, so it has been updated, but ready for a little bit more modern design, I think, overall. Interior highlights, one of the most beautifully designed interiors on the market. Infotainment screen is not so intuitive as the outgoing model. Overall, seating is roomy and comfortable on the inside. Available second-row screens will entertain the passengers like your 13-year-olds that you're toting around. Cargo, well, it's third row up, still allows for some storage back there. Not a lot. Put the third row down and you got tons of room. What I liked about it, pretty much everything on that interior. Quality materials, fit and finish, design elements, it's all there. What could use improvement? New operation system for the infotainment is not as intuitive as the old one. I like the old one a little bit better. You'll get used to it. It took me a while, and it's just a little bit different and more modernized. It has a 2.0-liter Turbo 4 with the start-stop feature on it, which they could do away with, but helps the gas mileage. Horsepower, get this, 324 horses out of this little 2-liter Turbo 4. Torque, 332, 8-speed automatic transmission with a tow rating of 3 tons, 6,200 pounds. That's significant. As far as miles per gallon, 20 in the city, 25 on the highway for a combined of 22. I got 21.1 miles per gallon, a lot of highway driving I did, over 413.7 miles. What I liked about it, well, on paper, the Turbo 4 with 324 horses looks enticing. However, the turbo lag can be significant in certain scenarios, and it grabbed me for several times while I was driving it the week that I had it. And if you're not an aggressive driver, maybe you're good with it, but I think it's something for Jeep to look into. Ride and handling, the air ride suspension is a definite must-have. Makes it smooth as glass as far as ride and handling is concerned. It is an option on lower levels. On this top-of-the-line model, it is all there included in the price. What could use improvement? Nothing as far as ride and handling is concerned. Now, I didn't take it off-road. If that's what you're looking for, only the Land Rover can compete, in my opinion, and it's a lot more expensive. This is an off-road vehicle. Jeep knows how to do off-road, and maybe this is right up your alley. Okay, here comes the pricing. Base trim price, $62,195. Now remember, this is top of the line. Price is tested, $72,770. That's a lot.
Base model price, however, you can get into one of these for $40,415. That's more like it. Now, the competitors include the Hyundai Palisade. It's at $39,435. That's where it starts. Also, the Toyota Grand Highlander starts at $41,860. All very competitive there. And then the Honda Passport jumps up to $44,950 as the starting price. So there are your three, but there are more, obviously. But those are the three that I picked for you to give you some comparison. And that's my review of the 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Next week, I'll review the Land Rover Range Rover Hybrid, and I think that you're going to like that one as well. And that's this week's car review. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us. Dora and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon. Automotive. Automotive. Thanks for being with us today. Time now for Jeff's Car Culture. Gas cap design.
Yeah, they're different nowadays. So why? Well, for decades, pulling up to a gas station meant unlocking the fuel door, twisting off a cap, setting it aside, and filling up. That ritual was so standard that it became second nature. But here's a few things that we didn't know, and here's why. So one of the biggest motivators behind the capless fuel systems is tighter emission control. Traditional gas caps wear out, crack, or even get loose, allowing vapors to escape. These vapors not only waste fuel, but also contribute to smog and air pollution. Capless systems seal automatically every time, meeting strict environmental standards and reducing the likelihood of a check engine light to be in the evaporator emission leak. In fact, those are bad gas caps and one of the most common causes of emissions failures for vehicles today. The next one would be it's easier for drivers. The convenience is a big role in the move away from the gas caps. With no gas cap to twist, drivers can insert the pump nozzle directly into the filler neck and start fueling. This means no fiddling, no worry with the cap clicking tight enough, no risk of leaving the cap behind in the gas station, which we've all done once or twice. Its simplicity is especially appealing to the drivers who dislike dealing with that kind of stiff, dirty, frozen caps in harsh weather. Also, the modern capless systems are often tied to the car's locking system, so you can't even open the fuel door without unlocking the vehicle. This deters casual theft or tampering. Another benefit is the capless filters are designed with nozzle-specific openings. The gas vehicle's filler neck won't accept larger diesel nozzles, and the diesel truck's filler neck are too big for the gas nozzle. These designs help prevent costly misfueling mistakes that can ruin an engine. The next one, Mike, we talked about, believe it or not, the humble gas tank is responsible for countless trips to the mechanics. A loose or cracked seal can cause vapor fuel leaks and trigger the check engine light. Replacing the cap usually fixes it, but owners often spend unnecessary money in diagnosing the effect before realizing it was just a gas cap. Capless designs eliminate the weak point entirely. There's no rubber gasket to wear out, and the system seals more consistently than any human can twist. And there's another reason. If you're ever unscrewed a grimy old gas cap, got dirt and fuel and rusty flakes on your hands, you appreciate the cleanliness of a capless design. Because the flap seals tightly, it keeps out the dust, debris, road grime that also reduces the chance of contaminants getting into the fuel system itself. No drivers have to worry about setting a dirty cap on the trunk or dropping it on the ground and obviously driving off with it. And then you got Ford, was one of the first major automakers to roll out a capless fuel filter widely, Introducing its Easy Fuel system in the mid-2000s, GM quickly followed, adding capless designs to the models like the Chevrolet Malibu and the Cadillac CTS. Chrysler also adapted them in the Dodge and Jeep lineups. Today, capless filters are common across the wide range of brands, though not universal. Many economy cars and imports still use traditional caps, partly to cut the cost and partly because some drivers still expect them. And then you've got the capless fuel filler uses a spring-loaded metal flap and multiple seals within the filler neck. When the fuel nozzle is inserted, it pushes the flap open. Once the fueling is complete, the nozzle is removed and the cap snaps shut, creating an airtight seal. Most systems include a secondary door deeper inside the neck to prevent fuel siphoning or tampering. This setup is surprisingly robust, designed to last the lifetime of the vehicle without any maintenance. And just a couple more things. Reactions to the capless systems have been mixed. Many drivers love the convenience, noting that it's faster and cleaner. Fleet owners appreciate it that there's fewer emission-related check engine lights caused by loose caps. However, some drivers dislike the lack of a physical cap, saying it feels less secure. A few complaints in certain older worn pump nozzles don't always seat properly, occasionally lead to the premature shutoffs during fueling. Oh, we have a premature shutoff. There you go. There's a psychological.
We worry about premature something.
Oh,
at this
there's a
point.
psychological element to the disappearance of gas caps. For generations, the twisting motion was a reassurance that the tank was sealed. Without it, some drivers feel uneasy, even though the engineering behind the capless systems went more secure. So if you have a newer vehicle that's got the capless, underneath your spare tire, in your spare tire area, there is an extension, so that if you have to put gas from a tank or a small container into the vehicle, there's a nozzle that you stick down in there and you can put it in there. So it's like an adapter. I have one. I checked my car out. I've got it. It's still in a little package.
Because
but there you go.
you're such a mover and shaker.
I've got a Buick, and there's nothing like it.
Well, thank you very much for
Oh,
that. And we're- will join us. Time now for Jeff's Motor Minute.
All righty. You got this, Mark? You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just go ahead.
I'll let you do
Okay.
the intro and I'll pop it.
Okay, so from rookie
Don't worry.
contracts to racing wealth, these are the homes of some of the NASCAR drivers that we all know and not necessarily are current. So what happens when speed, fame, and big wins turn into real estate, real world? Well, for NASCAR's biggest stars, success doesn't just stay on the track, it shows up in the homes they build, from a quiet lakeside retreat to jaw-dropping mansions. So here we go. The first one on the block is Kevin Harvick's $3.5 million European castle. It's a 12,000 square foot Oak Ridge mansion. It looks more like a European fortress rather than a race car driver's pad. 2014 NASCAR champion, he listed the 5-bedroom home featuring a garden for $3.5 million. It's a fitting residence for a man with 121 National Series wins, ranking him third all-time in NASCAR history. I like it, but I don't like the big hill there. I would probably trip and roll down it. The next one we have is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s $3.7 million Pirate Paradise. Earnhardt, his love for history in the Key West, built this pirate home. 3,300 square foot nautical escape features rope-wrapped columns, ship wheels, and even a secret hatch. Don't know where it goes. 26-time Cup winner listed a 5-bedroom home for $3.7 million, showcasing a renovation hobby he once shared on the DIY network. So he was actually doing remodels to it and put it on TV. The next one we have is a retired driver. It's Kurt Busch's Trophy Room Palace, located in Mooresville, which is North Carolina. Kurt Busch's former 9,500 square foot estate was built to house a legacy. The inaugural Chase for the Cup champion designed the office specifically for 34 trophies, boasting 5.5 bathrooms, garage large enough for a custom 1964 Volkswagen Beetle. Home recently hit the market for nearly $4 million. So there you go. If you got extra $4 million, you can buy it. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Equestrian Estate. This home is a massive 9,986 square foot property previously owned by NASCAR legend Ernie Irvan and Joe Nemechek. I don't think they owned it together separately. Valued at $16 million, the estate features an 18-stall horse barn, 3-acre pond, and a putting green. The Daytona 500
Tim
winners
Richmond.
residence often offers a spa and a cabana for the ultimate post-race relaxation. Jeff Gordon, who knows him? He's the Manhattan condo guy.
In your tiny little Speedo.
There you go. 4-time champion Jeff Gordon trademarked for the track for Central Park views with his $30 million residence. Now, bear in mind, it's an apartment, or condo, I should say, featuring Brazilian cherry floors and an Italian ceramic kitchen.
Brazilian. I knew we would
There
get
you
that
go.
word in there sooner or
That's
later.
the word of the day. 3,454 square feet. Home tripled in value since Gordon's 2007 purchase. NASCAR Hall of Famer sold the luxury unit just 2 months before finishing it. He provided speed translates to real estate is what he's talking about. So he
Real
built it-
estate.
real estate,
Not real estate. I
Well,
got
they
you.
separated real estate and estate for the real. Tony Stewart's $30 million Indiana Lodge. This is pretty cool. Known as Smoke, that's his moniker. Owns this most expensive residence, a $30 million rustic lodge spanning over 19,000 square feet, 415 acres. The home features an 8,700-gallon freshwater aquarium and an indoor trout stream. Oh, boy. Get out of bed and drop a line.
Drop something. Drop. I was going to say trowel, but I guess that'd be kind of trout.
Well, you could go trolling the night before. Built in the Northern Rockies, lodgepole pine. Extreme luxury. The last one we have, this guy is known as the Kid, Mark Martin. It's the $1 Million Chef Haven, known as the Kid.
Hi, I'm Mark Martin, and I go.
I like Mark Martin.
I do too, but he talks like
5,700
that.
square foot sanctuary on Lake Norman. The 40-time NASCAR champ winner enjoyed professional chef's kitchen and private pavement dock for lake access. $2.55 million. It remains a testament to his storied Roush racing career. And of course, he made a lot of money with when Viagra was his sponsor. He got that spot because he was.
Are you serious?
He was winning races by
Oh, my
inches.
God.
And
And I got it. There was a joke in there.
yeah,
I just
tried
now
to-
getting
yeah,
it.
okay.
Sorry.
Anyways, but there you go. So if you got a lot of money and you're a race car driver, and I know there's a lot of folks out there that are trying to be that level, keep trying. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and there's a lot of folks out there that know what they're doing.
We want to get to Jeff's car culture.
Okay.
The 5 longest tunnels in the United States of America.
Yep.
Do I really want to know
Well,
this?
when you're outside the longest tunnel in the U.S., you can't help but wonder, how did they build it? Or, what did it cost? How many people? Is it really an engineering marvel? Well, yes to all of that. Some of the stuff, you got to be a real good engineer to figure all that stuff out. So here you go, Michael. The Lincoln Tunnel is another tunnel under the famed Hudson River that connects New Jersey, forget about it, to New York. It's a massive 1.5 miles in length. It's the third largest traffic tunnel in that area. It's created off of the Route 495, and this is one of New York's most iconic traffic destinations. So, what really makes the Lincoln Tunnel unique is the 3 separate tunnels that are involved. One was built in 1937, one was built in 1945, and the last one was built in 1957.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the Lincoln Tunnel averages over 100,000 vehicles daily, and it's one of the most driven tunnels in the U.S. So the next one we have is the Ted Williams Tunnel, and it's a renowned tunnel located in the famed Boston, city of Boston, with a length of 1.6 miles. It's one of the longest tunnels in the United States, established in 1995. So when you're there and you're in the car park or all that stuff, you got to take the tunnel. Established in 1995, Ted Williams extension of I-90, which is the longest interstate highway in the country. The tunnel is owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and consists of 6 lanes. The tunnel has speed limit of 40 miles an hour, and it's a toll tunnel, and you can pay anywhere from 20 cents to $2 depending on where you live. So,
What?
yeah, I guess the different accesses to different neighborhoods, they have to pay certain things to get on the road or get in the tunnel. So that's what they're all about. The next one, Mike, is situated under the Hudson River and is called the Holland Tunnel. This is the second longest tunnel in New York City, and it connects New York to New Jersey. Again, if you miss it, forget about it. The tunnel is a 4-lane tunnel. It carries traffic from both I-78 to I-39, and it's about 1.62 miles in length. Clearly, it's the longest tunnel in the U.S., and the Holland Tunnel was first opened in 1927, making it the oldest road tunnel in the history of the country. And this was pretty unique. Don, you may know this when you've probably been on it. It's in the Colorado Rockies. It's the Eisenhower Tunnel. It's 60 miles east of Denver on Interstate 70, and that's where the tunnel's at. And the highest tunnel in the world with an average of 11,112 feet. So it's up there. It's up high in the mountains. It runs through terrain, and the average annual snowfall from that terrain from November to April is 26 feet. So you've got a lot of snow around you, a lot of mountains. 2 tunnels measuring just a hair under 10,500 feet each direction, and it was finished in 1973. It spans 2 watersheds and the Continental Divide. The federal government purchased it a long time ago, and they paid 90% of the cost, and the city or the state picked up the 10%. Averages about 30,000 to 50,000 vehicles, so it's a lot, and it's pretty high up there. So if you get anything to do with altitude or tunnels, I wouldn't do it. Baltimore Harbor, Michael. This one is prior to the Baltimore Harbor. It's being built and placed on the list of the longest tunnels in the U.S. Baltimore's narrow streets were the only direct roads between the city, the south side of Baltimore, and Philadelphia. So this was built in 1940, and it was because of the terrible roads and everything. That's just pretty crazy right there. Construction, the tunnel began in 1955, and by that time it was pretty well built and over budget. It has 21 twin tube sections, about as long as a football field. So if you're into taking those tunnels, good luck. That's all I got to say.
You don't have to worry about me taking those.
Now, there's a tunnel from Detroit to Windsor, and it's a little under a mile.
Well, we've got one here called the Washburn Tunnel that goes underneath the Houston Ship Channel, and I just assume I go on that either.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look. Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I'm real comfortable with that.
Automotive, and we thank you for being with us today. Time now for Jeff's Car Culture, regenerating tire treads.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Well, science has designed these things to regenerate your tire tread. Regenerative tires signifies a major leap forward in automotive industry. This groundbreaking technology is underpinned by the concept of self-replenishing tread. That could only be significant implications for driving safety, cost effectiveness, and the environment. You say, what's behind the science, Michael? Well, regenerative tires are essentially self-renewing with the capacity to continually regenerate their tread. This is made possible by smart materials that have the ability to change their properties in response to external stimuli, sort of like you, Don. This fascinating field of research extends just beyond tires with the potential applications a wide range in this industry. Several patents have been granted in relation to the tire generation technologies, reflecting the significant strides being made in this area. These patents cover a variety of technology and materials. Who are the pioneers? Well, several companies are leading the way developing the regenerative tires. For instance, Goodyear has a recharge concept. It represents a bold vision for the future of tire technology. There's a report out in Popular Mechanics that these tires are designed to replenish their treads using a special compound that is released over time. So Michelin has been making strides in this field also of regenerative tires. There's a news article in Rubber News. Michelin researchers have won a patent.
Wait a minute.
In Rubber News.
There's a publication called Rubber News.
On Rubber News, yeah. Not the synthetic ones, but the
and
rubber
not the
ones.
ones that you get at the Shamrock Station.
No. And those are extra large. Michelin researchers have won a patent awarded in this innovative technology and uses special tread blocks that expand the tire wear down by maintaining the optional tread depth. So that's pretty important because what you're going to do is, as it gets lower, it's going to regenerate more. The potential impact of this is main benefits of regenerating tire potential to enhance road safety by maintaining optional tire tread depth. These tires could improve grip and performance in a variety of driving conditions. Environmental applications, or implications, I should say. In addition to their potential benefits, drivers' regenerative tires could also save significant environmental benefits. Actually be part of the significant environmental benefits.
So in other words, what you're saying is that we could go from a 16-inch tire to a 22.
No. Good thinking, but no.
Oh, okay.
There are challenges, though. While the concept of regenerative tires is certainly exciting, there are several technological challenges that need to overcome before they can actually become a reality. So they're out there, they're doing all kinds of technology and engineering, and it's all good stuff. I don't see it in my lifetime, but go for it.
Well, I think that they're trying to do away with wheels as we have known them, and the wheel is actually the tire.
Yeah, and if we had flying cars, we wouldn't have tire problems. So there you go.
Very true.
All right, time now for Jeff's car culture. Today,
Is it culture or
top
motor minute?
6, whatever. Top 6 car battery rankings.
Okay, I got to find it. I was out of sync here.
You were.
I was on the wrong page. Here we
Okay,
go.
well,
It's
that's
the
all
first
right.
time
We've
I
been on
have-
the wrong page since we got here
That's
this
all right.
morning.
It's kind of a given. So car battery shopping has been one of the least exciting parts of owning a car. We all know that. And I'm doing this story because there's parts of the country that are really cold and parts that are really warm. So this goes out to our cold friends up there in the Northeast. A few things to remember before you head inside to locate a battery group for your vehicle is know that battery group, the CCA, which is the cold cranking amps. So the number one we have on here, now these are listed.
Is that a club?
The CCA?
The CCA?
Yeah, I think so.
It has to do with carp or something.
Could be.
Fishing,
It's
yeah.
fishing.
Fishing,
Yeah,
yes.
I think
CCA.
GCA, whatever.
Yeah, and then there's AAA, and then there's AA. Number 6 on my list is the Odyssey
NA.
batteries. They have a number of features that have pushed them high in the rankings. Their commitment to over-engineering is giving the batteries a reputation of reliability. The claim of a longer service life and cycle life and the shelf life are the comparisons for any competitor in the battery field.
It's called Odyssey.
Odyssey Extreme batteries can start a vehicle in temperatures as low as 40 degrees below zero.
Okay.
And all the way up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So there you go. There's the Odyssey. The next one, and it's kind of surprised me, is the Duracell. It's all about the big name, and it gets the battery world, and drivers may be pleased to learn that a well-known brand of manufacturers also does car batteries. In terms of customer reviews, Duracell batteries can, in some respects, be the best out there. They're pretty highly rated, and the majority of the outlets like Sam's Club and AutoZone have these batteries. Duracell has a few options available, like the basic level. There's a company standard series, all that good stuff. No frills option for the company. Claims to meet basic needs of the vehicle. The next one we have, Michael, is a Superstart. The Superstart, which is mainly sold through O'Reilly Auto Parts, offers a good range of batteries spanning from its economy to its premium units. Their economy batteries come with a 1-year warranty, while
Don't
the
forget,
premium
David, those are premium units.
and while the premium unit receives 2 years worth of backing, both the Platinum and the Extreme batteries get 3 years of coverage bundle. So there you go. That's for that one. Die Hard. Now, it's not the movie, it's the battery. This is the
They
battery.
used to be the Sears brand.
It did. This is the battery your dad told you about and put in your first car. That's the one he bought. Die Hard remains a great aftermarket option it was for Sears until they sold the brand to Advanced Auto Parts back in 2019. They relaunched in 2020, pairing the Die Hard battery with the Die Hard film hero, just mentioned that, John McClane. Popular advertising campaign reintroduced the battery brand and the availability. The next one, Michael, is an Optima battery. They use several unique design choices that move them to the number one spot in some cases, but not here. The 6-pack design and spiral wound cells are used both in the lead and the AGM versions of the batteries.
They have lead versions?
Yeah, they're the old school, the old style. Okay. Now, they're very expensive in some respects. The most affordable option for a 1996 Ford Ranger is a $250 battery. But they're reliable, trusted, and have a good warranty backing for the product. Next one, Mike, is a Dakota. One of the main sources people tend to shell out more than a car battery is the ability to crank an engine when things get chilly. In this respect, Dakota has good ratings on that part. The company claims that the batteries offer 200% of the power traditional car batteries offer, 5 times the charging speed, it lasts 8 times longer, and are half the weight of what you would normally have as a battery. So check them out. There's all kinds out there. Just be careful. Get what you need. Check the cold cranking amps, and you should have a good, solid battery.
Yep. Then there are those batteries that you go, I've never heard of this, but okay, the salesman said buy this. It's good.
Yep.
Have you ever done that?
No, because I do my due diligence and research.
Did you mention Interstate?
Interstate was probably 7th or 8th on the list. Interstate is in the grouping of 12, but these are the top 6.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that
Yeah,
out there.
sure.
Mars, you bought a battery in a while?
Nope.
Good for you. All right. Today, time now for Jeff's car culture. White letter tires, brother.
Yeah, well, the trend of white letter tires gained significant momentum in the 60s and 70s, especially here in the U.S. of A. Muscle cars and street racing were becoming increasingly popular. White letter tires became synonymous with performance and style and coolness that we all had associated with high-performance vehicles as well. White lettering on tires comes in 2 primary types, raised and painted. Each type has a distinct characteristics and manufacturing process. Raised white lettering is created during the manufacturing process itself. The letters are raised above the tire surface and are part of an integral portion of that sidewall. White lettering is typically made from white rubber. Rubber is actually kind of a cream color to begin with. It's a compound that is molded into the tire. Raised letters are known for their durability since it's part of the tire itself. Painted white lettering involves applying white paint to the tire after it has been manufactured. The paint is applied to a desired area of the sidewall. We used to do that. We did chalk, your crayon, fingernail polish. We used to do all kinds of stuff like that.
Yes.
We did. Requires more maintenance, though. Both types have their advantages and are chosen based on specific needs and preferences of the vehicle and their owner. Raised white lettering, being more durable, is often preferred as a regular use, and painted white letters allows you more customization, is popular among the car enthusiasts who frequently change the aesthetics of their vehicle. The manufacturing process of white letter tires includes ORWL, which is outlined raised white letters, is intricate and requires precise techniques to ensure durability and the clarity of the lettering. No font distortion there. The process varies depending on what letter is being raised. Raised white lettering is typically created using a specialized molding process. The white rubber compound is inserted into the mold along with black rubber and is used for the rest of the tire, so that they're just injecting a little bit portions at a time. During the vulcanization process, and Spock knows that, whereas the tire is heated and cured, curing the rubber, the white and black compounds fuse together. Painted white lettering is fully formed and cured in the area of the white lettering and is applied thoroughly and cleaned and prepared. Specialized durable paint is then carefully applied to the designated areas. This process might be done by hand or with the help of automated machinery for consistency and precision. Both methods require careful quality control and ensure the lettering is not only aesthetically pleasing, but also to withstand the rigors of road use without fading or peeling. And regular cleaning is essential to get the dirt and all the buildup and keep it from yellowing. Using cleaners specifically designed for it is advisable because you can really tarnish it and mess it up. Avoid exposure to harsh chemicals and solvents, deteriorating the rubber. We used to use brake fluid to get our tires black.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, that was back in the day. For those seeking non-permanent solutions, temporary decals can be applied to the sidewall. There are actually companies out there, professional companies, that will design lettering and apply them to your tire. While comparing all of these raised white letters, outlined white letters, consider this. They are a little bit higher priced, even if when you buy it, from the tire store, and then the raised white letters can be a little bit more money as well. The resurgence of vintage and retro styles in automotive design has been renewed interest in the white letter tiring. The ability to customize and personalize tires, white lettering, appears to be pretty advantageous for the consumer, and it's kind of unique, and it makes a unique style statement for them. White lettering on tires is often associated with specific brands, influencing customer loyalty and preference. The trends indicate that while practical considerations are important, the aesthetics and brand-related aspects of the tire design significantly influence the customer's choice. And there you've got all kinds of things. You can create your own design. You can get on their website, and they'll send you the stickers themselves, and you can put Don Armstrong on the side of your tires.
No, I don't want Don Armstrong.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, no, we're good. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location.
Start your loopy experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous loopy beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Loopy Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Loopy Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, In Wheel Time podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give In Wheel Time a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on In Wheel Time. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, the guy that keeps us grounded here, Jack Nerad,
Okay.
and his take on the new car market, along with other things like what's the price of gas in LA today. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mr. Mars has This Week in Auto History. And I'll bring you some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars over there, Jeff Zekin here, David Ainsley way out there. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad
Right
you could
here.
join us on this Saturday for our live show. If you're listening, watching on a podcast, thank you for that.
I think I just did the YMCA thing.
Did you?
I think that's what it was.
I know that you're well rehearsed in
Yeah.
that. You know, Jeff was
practiced a lot.
Jeff was a major domo back in what, high school?
Yeah.
A major
So
what?
a major domo.
It's called. We used to call it genius back then.
Genius.
Yeah, Mensa. You can call it what you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no.
No? All right, well, just thought I'd
Throw
mention that because
Dementia. That.
he does have a knack for music. He's a great drummer and was.
Great guy. Great family man. Just great all around.
You wanna just go ahead and just read us your resume?
We could end the show right now with that.
and on a high note.
We could do that. Well, as we wait for Jack.
No, Jack's ready.
Jack's here.
Well,
Bring him on.
Bring him on.
He's too busy talking about Jeff.
Well,
I love hearing about Jeff.
I know we all.
We all
There's
do.
nothing
We all
about
need more
Jeff I
Jeff.
don't like. Yeah, exactly.
we do need more Jeff Zekin. Hello,
Known
Jack
for his
Nerad.
humility.
Hello,
Well,
from-
hello.
hello to California, my friend.
Things are great here in California.
Yeah,
as
don't
usual.
lie to us.
I'll bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
We heard all the turn. Have they counted the damn votes that are
No,
about
no.
four?
I was looking at the election results website yesterday, and they say they're going to certify sometime in July.
July is
Nice.
a good day.
July. So,
July the
you know,
4th.
well, no.
250th anniversary.
Right
Is it-
around there. I think July 5th is the day they've picked.
Is it this July?
We think
Is
so.
it?
We're not quite sure, but we think so.
Oh, Jack, that California dude.
Yeah, we love it.
Wild
Yeah.
and crazy
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, are you loving it still out there?
Well, we put up with a lot for the weather, right? I mean, and I'm 3/4 of a mile from the beach. It's beautiful,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Pacific Ocean, wonderful. It's always about 75 degrees here, no matter what time of year. So gotta like that.
See, that's
And
the
then
thing.
there's the craziness, and it's everywhere.
Well,
That's
but
the
it's
thing
always
about
been
being
that
down
way,
here.
Jack. Let's not forget where all those bands came from back in the 60s, brother.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
There's that.
Including the Beach Boys, which are from right up the road here.
Yep.
My
exactly.
heroes, of course.
Yep. Well, all of ours.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, how much the price of gas out there today?
It's come down. We were driving around yesterday, and it's under $6 now. It's high fives.
Okay.
We're not giving high fives, but the gasoline is
Well, I have to tell
like
you,
$5.45 a gallon or something.
Well, I will tell you this, that I had to buy gas for the Corvette a couple of weeks ago, and it burns premium, and I spent $5 a gallon. I've never spent $5 a gallon on gasoline. It cost me like $80 to fill it up.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
used to buy avgas out at the airport for that.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't do that anymore. At least you
No.
can't admit it. That's for sure.
Yeah, crazy.
So, Jack, Let's talk about new cars and anything new and fun that you've been on any junkets lately.
Well, actually, I spent the early part of the week in Georgia, and I was at the Hyundai Meta plant, where they were going to build something like 250,000 to 500,000 electric vehicles a year. That's not going to happen. So they have introduced the Kia Sportage hybrid into that plant, which is interesting because it's a Kia being built in a Hyundai plant, but of course they have the same parent company.
Right.
So it was kind of fascinating to see that plant add Kia to it. There was a big ceremony. Governor Kemp was there to drive the first vehicle off the line, do all of that. A very nice event. And then we drove down to West Point, Georgia, kind of across the state, and saw the Kia plant where they're building all kinds of stuff and they're going great guns, and they're making about 500,000 vehicles a year in that plant, all with American workers, of course. It's just been a boon for the economy there. So it's terrific. One of the most impressive things about that was they have something like 13,000 vehicles on the ground at any one time.
Wow.
I mean, there are just acres of cars produced, and you look at them and go, people are buying these, but it kind of shows you just the scale of the industry. It's just so amazing.
So they're literally building them so much faster than they can ship them off the property out across the country, huh?
Well, they build about one car every 53 seconds, I think is what they told us, something like that.
Yeah.
And then they ship a lot of them by rail and the rest of them by truck. I think to the southeast they go by truck, and probably out to Texas by rail, certainly up to the upper Midwest and out here to California.
Yeah.
And then they also export some. Some go to Mexico, some go to Canada.
I remember back when I was in the factory, I think they built a car every 9 minutes, I think, and that was like the exclusive time to beat. But
Yeah,
now
the
every
holdup
50
was the wooden wheels, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They
Right.
warped a lot, but 53 seconds, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The first plant, did they have a lot of storage there on their lots? Because you said you went to the first one.
Well, it's interesting. They, being all electric, and things changed on them pretty radically now, didn't they? They have a lot of extra space, and I think they're going to introduce a lot of internal combustion engine vehicles there over the course of time.
I got you.
They're calling it electrify, but these are hybrids, so they do have a battery, but they're not battery vehicles like the vehicles that were being produced or are being produced there.
So they introduced the Kia Sportage there at the Hyundai plant.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same Kia Sportage? I mean, or did they make some significant
No,
changes?
it's the new model year,
Right.
and they're only going to build the hybrid there, the Sportage hybrid. The conventionally powered Sportage is still being built in West Point, Georgia, and which also builds, I think, like 4 other cars. It's pretty amazing to see various vehicles come down the same assembly line and everything match up, and all, it's fascinating how they're able to do all that.
Well, Jack, I know that you have probably seen the story that I read today. The fact that it seems as though, at least for now, that the auto industry, the car manufacturing industry, is actually not doing too bad. They're still selling lots of cars, which goes completely against what we hear about, grocery store prices, how bad the economy is, but yet we still have this love affair for cars.
Yeah, I mean, there's a drumbeat that the economy is bad, and the economy isn't bad. I mean, I think people think that the economy is bad because they hear it every day in the media, but actually they're spending money like the economy is really pretty darn good. And one of the indicators of that is they're buying cars. Not only are they buying cars, they're buying expensive cars. I mean, the transaction price is right around $50,000, the average transaction price. So this is a fairly robust car industry, and both dealers and the car manufacturers are making a lot of money. This is pretty fat times for them.
Good news doesn't make good headlines.
No, exactly. I think the media is trying to rile us up, and I think when you see what the media is about these days, which is getting clicks, you don't get clicks by telling people good news. You get clicks by telling people that things are lousy.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
So I have 2 people right now in my life that are both in the car buying mode. One of them being my daughter. The lease is up on her Rogue, and she is interested in buying a used Jeep Grand Cherokee. So we started doing, I clicked around a little bit. Oh my God, if you go online, you're going to find a bajillion of them, all different makes and models, all different years, all different mileage figures, and prices are all over the board. So it's not just new cars, it's used as well. I have another friend of mine that was in the market because their lease is up on their Volkswagen, and looking at, they do not want another Tiguan. Because of the jerkiness of the turbo, and the engine thing. Oh well, we've changed the algorithm in the computer. Okay, fine,
Right.
you go do that. But guess what? They're really going after a Chevy Trax, of all things, a Chevy Trax. And I'll tell you, Jack, I actually drove one not that long ago. It's a pretty decent car for under $30,000.
Yeah,
really
one of the
is.
few, right?
Yeah.
One of the few.
And it's not what you would consider a cheapo. Not by any. It doesn't look that way and didn't drive that way. It's got a 3-cylinder engine that gets 30 miles per gallon. I mean, it's got a lot of things going for it. My guess is they're going to sell every one they get on the lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine at JD Power recently, and he was touting the Trax too. He said, he used that as an example of one of the few affordable cars out there that's really a good deal. So it's something to look at.
Well, it looks good too. It doesn't look like a cheapo. I remember back in the day, yeah, that car is a cheapo. You can just tell by the way it looks. They don't generally make those anymore.
And you want to upgrade from that, there's always Buick.
Oh, Lord. So Jeff's still touting his Buick and his decision to buy a Buick. And I will say that it's a pretty nice car, too.
There you go.
And it's not $50,000.
No, it's not. And
I'll
it's a
tell you, if you had a
four-cylinder
Buick
turbo.
out here, you would have the most distinctive vehicle on the road because
Yeah,
you wouldn't,
'cause
you wouldn't
they're
see
not-
anything just like it out here. I can tell you that.
Do they not sell Buicks in California?
Very rarely.
Well, that's
How funny.
You just don't see them.
That's what's
you
wrong
know,
with
they're
that
pretty
state.
good looking vehicle. You see one on the road and you go, "What is that?" And then you go, "Oh, it's a Buick."
It's a Buick.
If
Yeah.
you toot the horn, I'll wave at you.
And, to that end, Jack, and I know that you'll agree with me on this, in different parts of the country, it's almost as if it's going from Neiman Marcus to Dillard's to Macy's. It's a blouse or it's a shirt, but it's different in the different parts of the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
If you travel around as we do, and if you look at the sales figures, stuff that sells in the Northeast does not sell in the Southwest,
Exactly.
for example, or things that sell in Texas don't sell in North Dakota. Nothing really sells. In
It's
North
a trend of
Dakota.
the region.
But,
There's nobody that lives in
Yeah.
North
Yeah.
Dakota.
Actually, I think North Dakota is probably booming now because of the oil business up there. But I'll tell you, it is kind of very regional splits. I mean, you see a lot of domestic vehicles in the middle of the country, and on the coast, you just don't see them very much. And here in Southern California, I mean, this is a giant import market, with the exception of Tesla, which is a domestic brand, of course. And you see a lot of Teslas here. I think the Tesla Model Y was the best-selling vehicle in California last year, or something like that. So go figure. That probably won't happen going forward because of the lack of the federal tax credits. But we'll see.
Well, so what are you going to talk about today on your car show?
One of the things we talk about is the Mazda CX-30, and is that really an SUV? My take on that, and especially in the turbo version, is it's more of a hot hatchback. It's a really fun to drive car. So we talk about that. Well, of course, we do car reviews. We're also reviewing the Jeep Grand Cherokee this year, and this week, and that vehicle has a new powertrain with this new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Very interesting tech. Kind of, I guess, I don't want to overtell what's on the show, but we're not necessarily big fans of the newest vehicle.
Okay. That's an honest opinion.
All right. News this week from Stellantis. They're bringing back the horsepower, brother. something that they should have never gone away from. They wouldn't be this deep in debt had they not gone away from it. But that idiot that they finally got rid of,
Both of them.
yeah, that's a thing of the past. I mean, apparently they're going to go all in on horsepower.
Well, you said more horsepower, so they're going to put more electric motors in them.
Well, in some cases, but I mean, I think that the Hemi's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think what we saw and what I was talking about just now with the Jeep Grand Cherokee and that four-cylinder engine, all things being equal, and if we didn't have the fuel economy requirements that we used to have and the emission requirements that we used to have that have now been banished, thankfully, we wouldn't have stuff like that. I think a lot of people are facing they're being confronted with turbocharged four-cylinder engines in all kinds of things that they are about to buy, and they're going, well, I don't really want this. I'd like a V8 engine. I'd like a solid, normally aspirated six-cylinder engine like I'm used to. I don't want the complication and sometimes the turbo lag of a turbocharged engine, and that's because of fuel economy requirements that were just crazy. I mean, impossible, almost impossible to reach, and certainly impossible to reach without those kind of powertrains.
And whether you're driving that turbo 3-cylinder or you're driving the 5.7 Hemi, the cost of the gas, the fuel is the same.
Yeah.
Just depends on how hard you push it and use it.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I think that they're headed in the right direction for their miraculous comeback, and Lord knows they've had enough of them in the life cycle of that company. Yeah. But I was kind of excited to hear that the SRT is going to make a huge comeback. They're going to have 30 different versions of it or something like that. It's crazy, but and it's not going to take that long for this to get on the road. To be honest with you, I see that. I saw a preview. I don't remember what car it was, but it looked real good. And I'm thinking, there's something about an American V8, normally aspirated, that is unlike anything else that we drive, Jack. And you got to agree with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fans of those, and I've been big fans of those forever. And I think what we see in full-size SUVs is kind of the remnant of that, right? I mean, those are the only separate body on frame, V8 power rear drive vehicles that are still on the road. And, that's what everybody had as a family car, 30, 40 years ago.
The only thing that we never heard about turbo lag until they started making them for customers to drive. Turbos have been around forever and ever and ever, but the ones that we drive, I remember when they first came on the market, they were horrible. Step on the gas and it kind of inched forward, and then all of a sudden this huge rush of power, and you're squealing the tires and not meaning to.
Yeah. They've kind of moderated that to some extent, but a lot of these turbos I drive still have some lag. And as I said, I don't want to mean to pick on the Jeep Grand Cherokee, but as you're driving that, this is a big, heavy vehicle, and you'd like immediate torque. You just don't get it from those kinds of engines typically.
Yeah, turbos were originally designed or used on big industrial equipment, large
diesels,
dump trucks and diesels and things.
Yeah.
And so the slow turn up of a turbo was fine for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and lower torque.
I think to Stellantis's credit, but they're responding to the market. They're not responding to the government mandates now. They're not being forced to build cars for mandates. They're trying to build cars that people want to buy.
Well, they were making money on the mandates on that because now they're not making money, so they do have to pivot.
Yeah, and I think that the pivot, when a great big huge company makes a pivot, it takes a while to get that wheel turning, so to speak. So, Jack, what is your press car of the week that you're driving this week?
I have a Volvo XC60. I actually went out this morning, even before the show, and did some photography on it. That's a sweet ride. The XC60 is one of the Volvo's best. And, it's a mid-size luxury SUV. And they just finished them well. The seats are among the most comfortable of any seats in the industry. I just think it's a terrific vehicle.
You just don't hear of people buying them, at least here in Texas anymore. And I think that that Volvo brand has something to offer and something to look at if you look for something a little bit more upscale than, I don't know, pick
Yeah.
a Chevy or
And
something.
they're building a lot of them now in the United States, which is cool as well. A
Yeah.
lot of their SUVs are being built here.
Well, Jack, it's always great to talk to you, and we thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. America on the Road is his show. Look it up. And
Any new books?
I'm working on another crime novel. It's more in my head than it is on the paper yet. But,
it's a crime up there in your head.
yeah. A lot of things are a crime.
Crime
in my
shame.
head.
Yeah, you've been in Don's head then, haven't you?
Yeah, apparently so.
That's my wife. Yeah.
Jack, we love you. Thank you so much. Have a great summer, and hopefully we'll talk to you before summer ends.
I look forward to it. Always great to talk to you three. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you,
Appreciate you. Hey, you're invited to join us again next week for our live show. In next week, it's a bonus hour, 9 to noon Central, as we take it all the way up to Granbury, Texas, for the Lone Star Street Rod Association. Lone Star State Run.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss our show, you'll be able to connect through a podcast from your favorite podcast channel anytime. We're going to be right back after this quick break. Stay with us.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flamiado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla. Eats pretty good.
Recalls, but Mr. Mars,
Yes,
it's
sir.
time for your driving destinations and 5 swap meets, and it's time for you to go.
You want me to get it, Mike?
If you would, sir, I'll pull it up and get you started. There you go.
All right.
So, swap meets are something that we used to. I remember when I was much younger that was something that we always went to looking for parts. It was a big deal. It was almost like almost every car show had a swap meet, and it's not so much anymore. Now, if you're going to find something, generally it's tied into a flea market. But there are several swap
or you go
meets.
online and get it.
Yeah.
Or you go online and get it. Yeah, it takes all the fun out of walking through it. So, but one of them that's going on that is still a pretty big deal is the Southwest Swap Meet at Lone Star Park. Now, this is right between Dallas and Fort Worth. Happens twice a year. In fact, it's going on this weekend is the spring event, and there'll be one later on in the fall. Now, this has been around since 1968, and it's set up on a 300-acre horse racing facility. So, it's not a lot of open fields and stuff. You've got parking lots and grandstand. The track's all right there in the background. But there's like 5,000 spaces available for vendors, food trucks, and the auto corral. So if you want to go looking for something in a little bit more of a laid-back atmosphere that's not totally too big, put on your walking shoes and go check out this one. Now, getting a little bit closer to home down here in the Dallas part of the world, Hot Rods of Texas Swap Meet happens up in Conroe. Again, this one is twice a year, and this is the second largest swap meet in Texas. Now, the October event is set for October the 23rd and the 25th. Again, Montgomery County Fairgrounds out on Airport Road. We've been out there a couple of times with some other events. It is a real fairgrounds. It is a large place, and they use the whole thing. Hot rods, muscle cars, project builds. And the great thing about this one is if you're going to be a vendor there, if you're going to come in there and set up, you got to have at least 75% of your content or your stuff you're bringing in has got to be auto related. So you're not really going to turn this into some sort of flea market with a lot of handicrafts on it. And it usually draws a pretty big crowd.
Well,
because
Martha, isn't that a cute purse you brought over there?
got a car on it. So then we want to go to the big one. Now, this is the biggest in Texas, and it is considered one of the largest in the country. Now, this is the Pate Swap Meet. Happens April the 23rd through the 25th, so still got time to get there. Now, this was started in 1972 by several Texas car clubs who were going off to Pennsylvania, to Hershey, and places like that, and they got tired of making the drive. So they decided to set one up here, and it's been through several different places and now is home at the Texas Motor Speedway. 14 clubs get together to put this together. They have 2,000 vendors. They have 9,900 spaces for people to set up and swap parts and swap stories. Then they have an auto corral. And there's some pictures. Part of these pictures are from the top seating of the track looking out over the field. It uses the whole track. And a lot of people, I mean, they now have golf carts. A lot of people use scooters. A lot of people to get around. Last time I was up there, it wasn't quite this big. It was pre-COVID. I was there 2 days and still didn't get to walk through all of it. Wow. So there's lots of stuff up there and lots of things. And if you buy something, if you can't carry it, they got people that will actually carry it to your car. One thing about these swap meets, whether it's these big ones or the smaller ones that you can find, the biggest thing you got to remember is bring cash. Cash is king, because out there in the middle of that parking lot, you're not going to necessarily have access to a credit card. And the other thing is, if you want to get something in particular, if you're really looking for a hard-to-park find, you ought to get there a little bit early and get started on it. Okay. Bring your walking shoes. Yeah. And a couple others. Yeah. You walk your feet off with that. A couple other things I want to mention quite real quick. Greenville Swap Meet, that's an old school option early in the spring that's up there. And the other one is the Corvette Chevy Expo down in Galveston. It's pretty close. That one also has a swap meet, but it's primarily GM focused, obviously heavy into the Corvettes. But swap meets are still out there, and you can find them. You just got to kind of look for them. They're not as plentiful as they used to be, but there's still a lot of.
There you go.
Thanks for being with us today. Time now here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show for Jeff's Car Culture. Not the Motor Minute, but the car culture. Abandoned car factories that still hold secrets.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
The city of Detroit was once the beating heart of the global industry. In automotive industry, basically, the American automobile industry rapidly expanded in the early 1900s with Detroit as its epicenter. Millions of cars rolled out of the factories. The city rightfully earned the name Motor City. So here we go. The first one that's still in Detroit is the Packard Automotive Plant. Since the opening in 1903, the plant served as a manufacturing heart for the Packard Motor Company, producing some of America's most prestigious automobiles. During World War II, the facility joined forces with Rolls-Royce to manufacture 55,000 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, which was on the Spitfire. The Packard Motor Company collapsed in the late 50s, which led to the closure of the automotive plant portion in 1956, leaving the location abandoned ever since. Deemed structurally unsafe for decades of neglect, the massive complex was partially demolished in 22 and in 24. Today, only fragments of the 3.5 million square foot factory remain. There's been movies actually made in that part of the dilapidated structure as well. So some of it is still viable. They've got the folks that go in there and skateboard and tag all the paint and stuff like that. So it's still around. The next one, this is kind of near and dear to my heart, the Fisher Body Plant 21. This is the old Fleetwood plant. I actually worked on the fourth floor there. If you look really close, you can see my parking spot right up front. Built in 1919, the 600,000 square foot Fisher Body Plant was designed to serve as key manufacturing site for General Motors. The plant closed in 1984 despite a short second life, with small businesses occupying the premises until 1993. The massive concrete structure was left abandoned for decades. According to the Urban Explorers, there we go, the rail system that transported vehicles within the factory is still left in place. After decades of neglect, the building is now fenced off and finally being revived through the Fisher 21 Lofts redevelopment program. So they're trying to do something with it back in that area.
Fisher Lofts.
Fisher Lofts.
Maybe that's what they need to do at the sugar factory in Sugar Land.
I thought that's
turn it into a loft.
I thought that's what they were kind of trying to do.
That's that's another story.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, the next one is the Highland Park Ford plant. This one's got a lot of history to it as well. It's one of Detroit's most significant factories in automotive history. It opened in 1910, designed by the same architect that designed the Packard building. The plant became the birthplace of the modern moving assembly line from Henry Ford, introduced in 1913. As the production of the Model T moved to a different factory, the Highland Park Ford plant transitioned into automotive trim manufacturing, truck and tractor production, as well as the production of tanks, aircraft, and certain parts in World War II. According to the Ford company, sold this historic Highland Park complex in 1981, but it continues to lease space for storage even today. So you probably got a little storage company working, and that's pretty good to keep it going. The last one we got, Michael, is the American Motors Detroit plant. We've covered all the manufacturers there. This one was built in 1927.
Wait a minute, I thought that they were up in Wisconsin.
This one was the original, built in 1927. It's a 2 million square foot industrial complex that serves as headquarters for American Motors, or AMC. The company first oversaw the development and production of appliances and focused exclusively on production of vehicles starting in 1960. Rambler, the Hornet, the Javelin, Gremlin, Pacer were some of the manufacturer's most popular models built in this factory. In the late 80s, Chrysler
Pacer.
acquired...
The fishbowl.
Chrysler acquired the AMC to move as a move to let the complex being repurposed for Jeep and Truck Engineering Center. So there you go.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, because I always thought that American Motors was Kenosha.
Yeah. Well, that's probably after that because this was built early on. So, but again,
I was there for that.
They were making appliances first in this particular plant. So.
Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the Lexus RX 450h Plus. I've told the story a bajillion times. I really had no experience with Lexus until, well, this has probably the 1980s, early 2000s.
You own one.
I did. And it was an RX, a 350, and it was the original RX, and absolutely loved that thing. Anyway, this is not that. This is the brand new 2026 Lexus RX 450h Plus. So here are the trim levels. 350, 350h Hybrid, 350 F Sport, 350h F Sport, 350 Luxury, 350h Luxury, 450h Premium, 500h F Sport, and the 450h Plus, which is what I had.
Jeez.
So I had the top of the line. Nanny, nanny, boo-boo. This is a PHEV. It's a hybrid. 5 seats. Exterior changes from last model year. Well, it was completely redesigned in 2023, so it's really, this design is only 3 years old. Exterior features include the oversized Lexus grille with squinty, high-mounted headlights, aero windshield, really laid back, upswept and side sculpting on it, really looks good, with some very nice wheels. It doesn't make any difference which trim level that you choose. There's going to be a wheel for that car specifically. Bustle butt rear.
All right.
With a built-in sunshade over the glass back there. This is a very unique looking vehicle, and that's part of the reason that I like it. It doesn't look like all the other SUVs out there. Overall design gets high marks. What could use improvement? Nothing. Keep it coming. Interior highlights. High zoot design that leans toward the minimalist look. In other words, you're not going to find a lot of buttons and switches in this. Standalone instrument cluster and a great big infotainment screen. Non-cluttered center console, read minimalist. Awesome upholstery and comfortable seating. Cargo, well, that area back there behind the second row of seats, bigger than you think. But I liked, again, high marks for design and materials. With that Mark Levinson sound system, it is top notch. What could use improvement? Like to see some instrument controls like a volume knob. That would have been nice. Because what you wind up having to do is look at the screen, which takes your eyes off the road, which most people have their eyes off the road and into their phones. I think that a few more buttons would have been nice for some of the functions, but that's just me. Engine, 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, plug-in hybrid of 304 combined horsepower, CVT transmission, tow rating, believe it or not, 3,500 pounds, which is a lot. The miles per gallon city, well, it's 85 miles per gallon electric, 35 for the gas only. Did I plug it in? I did not. So in my gasoline heyday that I had this car for the week, I got 31.3 miles per gallon over 405.4 miles. What I liked about it, it has enough power that leaves you satisfied. That sounds almost kind of like an old cigarette commercial, doesn't it? Ah, satisfaction. What could use improvement? Get the full hybrid version unless you only travel 35 miles per charge a day. That would be my suggestion.
Good looking car.
Yeah, it is. And they also have the gasoline, strictly gasoline version of it as well. What I liked about it, I liked all of it. What could use improvement? Nothing on this top of the line trim. So how much? Base trim price, $73,310. This is top of the line now. Prices tested, $78,569. If you just want to get in one, it starts at $50,525. Competitors, Mercedes-Benz GLE 450e, $72,500. BMW X5, $76,375. Or how about this? The Acura MDX Type S non-hybrid is $77,300.
Wow.
Expensive. Next week, I'm going to... All right, time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2026 Chevy Equinox EV. Available trim levels, the LT1, the LT2, and the RS. I had the RS. This is considered a small SUV, but boy, I'll tell you what, that's pressing it to say small. Anyway, 5 seats in this, including the driver, all new in 2024. So all new design. It really does look sharp. Sharp looking exterior design with slit lighting up front. RS had a blacked out faux grille with, doesn't need a grill because it's electric, remember? Big 21-inch wheels, sharp rear hatch with sunshade over the back glass. What I liked about it, gets high marks for styling, I think. What could use improvement? Not a fan of two-tone paint. That's an option that you can get. When did we go back to two-tone paint?
Let's go back to wood panel.
Well, yeah, real wood.
Yeah.
Ours did not have the two-tone, I'm glad to report. I've seen especially the blue one with the white top. All I can think of is the old Houston Police Department paint scheme.
Oh.
Interior highlights, color options, enhance the interior bling on this RS. Layered 2 screens are unique and are good. Column shift is great. I loved it. And it opens up the center console for other stuff. Infotainment controls work great and are easy to understand. Cargo trunk room, well, adequate for most, I would say, for a small SUV. What I liked, the Evotex seating surfaces. They seem industrial in black, but you can get some highlights in different colors that really makes it pop. Evotex, that's one of those kind of like, name one of those old school plastic things that they came up with. Plastic seats. But they came up with names for them. It was always very interesting, the names that they, like pleather. Yeah, it's Evotex. What could use improvement? Nothing. Drivetrain. Electric motor works great. 2 motor options give 300 horsepower and 355 pound-feet of torque. Horsepower 0 to 67.8 seconds, adequate for most, not a rocket ship by any means. Direct drive transmission, obviously the electric motor is connected to the wheels. Tow rating 1,500 pounds, not a lot, but what do you need? This is an electric EV SUV. So 117 miles per gallon city is what it's rated, and it's called MPGe. Highway is 100 miles, combined 31 kilowatts per 100 miles. You do the math. I've tried. I failed.
Thanks.
I got 2.9 kilowatt hours over 387.6 miles. Do you get that? EPA rated at 319 mile range. What I liked, Front or all-wheel drive is available. It's nice to have the option. Long-range version would be a nice improvement, I think, a bigger battery. What I liked about it, the ride and handling, nice, smooth. What could use improvement? Steering wheel mounted controls were a little confusing. They seem to have, all of the manufacturers have a penchant for putting things on the steering wheel that you're not quite sure what they are until you hit the button.
Yeah.
And your Buick has probably got the same thing.
I'll tell you a story when you're done with your review.
Okay. So there's that. A base trim price, $44,200. Price is tested $52,945. You can get in this thing for as little as $35,100. Good luck in trying to find one of those.
Wow.
Competitors, the Mustang Mach-E for $37,795. Hyundai Ioniq 5 starts at $35,000, and the Tesla Model Y starts at $39,990 miles.
Wow.
Sorry, not miles.
Dollars.
Dollars, thank you. I'm looking at time now for this hour's car review. I had the opportunity to drive the 2025 Ford Expedition, made in Louisville, Kentucky, all American. Available trim levels are the Active, the Max Active, the Platinum, the Max Platinum, the Trimmer, which we had, the King Ranch, and the Max King Ranch. You can only imagine what the Max King Ranch costs.
Big one.
I reviewed the Trimmer 4x4. This is a standard or full-size body-on-frame SUV. Underneath it, it's a F-150 pickup truck, for the most part. That's what it's based on. Exterior changes, well, it was fully redesigned for 2025, although I think most of us would be hard-pressed to be able to tell the difference between a 24 model and a 25 model. Exterior features, Trimmer grille, which is distinct amongst all of the Expeditions. It gives a nod to the Chevrolet, actually. The front grille kind of looks like a Chevy with the bar through the middle of it, with that center horizontal bar. Also, it does have copper gold accents. Now, some people said, I don't like that. I do. I think it makes it different, stands out a little bit. Gives you an idea that this is pretty cool here. Straight horizontal side body moldings on it. Extra lighting now on the rear hatch makes it more unique. What I really liked about it was that the Trimmer package gives it a more off-road or rugged look. Not sure about the back hatch with the two-toned look for most of the Expeditions. You may have seen one or two of those. Kind of a piano black thing going on back there around the color that's on the car. Interior highlights, Trimmer stitching on the seat backs, comfortable seating throughout, easy access to the second and third rows. Yes, this is a 3-row vehicle. Sweeping driver display, love that. Plenty of cubbies throughout the cabin, and really electrical connections throughout as well. Cargo, adequate. With the third row seats up, it's just okay. Clearly, the seat's going to take up some room back there in what would be the cargo area. What I liked, the design and the quality with optional 2-foot center screen.
Wow.
A 2-foot center screen. I did say that. What could use improvement? The steering wheel accessory controls are overcomplicated, and you've got to look at a screen to see what you're doing, which kind of defeats the purpose because you're supposed to be watching the road.
Exactly. And it's not Ford's fault. They all do it. Mine does it too, because you make a mistake and you go oopsie on the steering wheel, and you're not where you want to be in the system.
Yep. 3.5 liter high output EcoBoost V6, 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission with a tow rating of 9,000 pounds max, depending on how you got it set up. It's huge. It's an aircraft carrier. Mileage, 15 miles per gallon city. I guess it's better than the V8, the old V8 that isn't available anymore, because I think it got 12 or 13. 22 on the highway for a combined of 18. I got 16.6 over 486.1 miles. What I liked about it, the power, not only in the horsepower, but the torque. What could use improvement? Obviously, fuel economy. I think this would be ripe for a hybrid.
Or a diesel.
Or a diesel. But, it's funny because, they've tried diesels in these things before. Chevy did it. They've all done it when they get this big. And it would make sense. But people, you got to have a mindset for diesel.
Right. You're going to the eco side of the ownership rather than the torque and the
Well, yeah,
towing.
If you tow a lot, if you got your landscaping trailer behind you that's got 10 tractors on it, then maybe a diesel would work.
But there again, Ford does make diesel F-150s and 250s. And
They do.
Yeah. So
And I don't know what it would take to put a diesel in this, but that's
body and frame. Yeah.
another open can of worms. Because remember, when you change engines in anything, then you get the EPA involved.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a whole nother issue.
Well,
What I liked
not
about
only
it,
that,
the extra large, long limousine ride.
Oh.
It's sweet,
Yeah.
baby. What could use improvement? Steering radius is a little bit on the long side, but remember, it's about 100 feet long, so it's going to take you a little bit to get in that parking
It's
spot.
the SS trimmer, USS trimmer.
Yes, it's exactly right.
Aircraft
What could
carrier.
use improvement? The steering radius. All right, so here's the pricing for this.
Uh-oh.
The base trim price for the trimmer is $83,945. Prices tested, $86,695. Probably most in the floor mats because you got to have about 15 of them. Base model price, $57,400. So you can get in one
Yeah. Without floor mats.
without the floor mats. Yeah, that's rubber flooring in it. $57,400. Okay, competitors. Well, you know what they are. Chevy Suburban 61.5 is where it starts. The Yukon XL, which is the Chevy's other brother, that's 69.9. And we threw in the Toyota Sequoia, although it's not quite as big. It starts at
Off-roady, yeah.
62,425. Not as much sheet metal.
Yeah.
So you get a break on that.
Yeah. Probably
So-
not as heavy either. Or less towing. Could
Yeah,
be less towing.
yeah. And that is my review of the 2025 Ford Expedition. Time now for this hour's car review. 2026 Mazda 3. This is the four-door compact sedan. They do make a hatchback, but we'll forget that. This is the sedan. Available trim levels, the S, the Select, and the S Preferred, along with the Carbon Edition all-wheel drive, the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus. I had the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus, top of the line, compact four-door sedan, seats 5, exterior changes minimal. It was completely redesigned in 2019, so this current design is getting a little long in the tooth. Exterior features include the Shark grille with the laid-back Aero windshield, quick back design with a small trunk lid and a small opening back there, slick wraparound headlights, 18-inch black wheels on this particular trim level, giving it a premium appearance. What I liked, the overall sporty design. What could use improvement? Well, something new. A 7-year-old design. It sells. It's good, but it's time to bump it up, I think. Interior highlights. Design and quality get high marks. Small infotainment screen sits atop the dash. Minimalist control switches. They look good, but some are hard to find, the ones that you need. Front seats are comfortable, but rear ones, not so much. Small trunk room, and especially that opening back there, it's very small, so you're not going to get your big suitcase back in there. What I liked, quality materials. This is high end, really, for this kind of car and for this price. What could use improvement? The infotainment operation is still too complicated. It's the same one they've been stuck with for years.
Wow.
And I'm not a big fan. 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder engine, 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. 310 pound-feet of torque. Transmission, 6-speed automatic, 23 miles per gallon city, 32 highway for a combined of 27. I got 25.2 miles per gallon over 525 miles. Oops, 25 miles over. I'm sorry. What I liked, the plenty power for this top-of-the-line engine. What could use improvement? How about a hybrid offering for better miles per gallon? I don't know if it's possible or not, but that's a slick looking
it's a good-looking
four-door
car.
sedan.
Right.
What I liked about it, the sporty nature of the sedan. What could use improvement for the ride and handling? Nothing. Base trim price. No, base trim price, $36,740. Prices tested $39,145, which is a lot of money for this car. But base model price, $24,550.
Oh, very good.
Hello, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Competitors, the Honda Civic starts at $24,695. This is just so weird to me when I started looking all this stuff up. I'm going, wait a minute, they're all within $1,000 of each other. Toyota Corolla starts at $22,925, and the Hyundai Elantra starts at $22,625. Isn't that bizarre? The price really comparison is between the Mazda 3 that I drove, but the base model price $24,550 and the Honda Civic for $24,695.
And you got some youngster going away to college. It might be a good first car on the base side of it.
Yeah,
Maybe 22,
if you can
23,000.
find, the base cars are hard to find.
Yeah.
They want to sell them with all the goodies on it because they make more money that way.
And
I get it.
They're not going to Oreo one with just base. No, they probably would, but
Well, they would, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's the car review of the Mazda 3 sedan. I liked it.
Good.
Man, it's a sporty car. Clearly, Mazda's brand is about sportiness. It's not going to ride like, the Buick Regal of the past.
Oh, no.
You can toss it around the corners.
And that the shape, when you saw the silhouette of the side view of that vehicle,
Slick.
Everything looks a Euro. It looks like a European
It's nice
design.
and rounded.
Well, my opinion, they stand out. Do something different on your design, and Mazda should.
Okay.
Yeah, they're nice cars.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Time now for this hour's car review. I had an opportunity to drive something that's all new. All new. And it's the 2026 Subaru Uncharted. And you're thinking, well, heck, that looks pretty darn good. And it does. So it comes in these trim levels: Premium, Sport, and GT. I had the middle trim level, the Sport, and it was orange like that. It is considered a subcompact SUV, about the size of the Crosstrek. Seats including the driver, 5. All new for this year, as I mentioned. Best looking vehicle for its size, period, according to Don Armstrong. I really like it. Front fascia, clean design, doesn't look EV-ish, which is a big thing for me. Why do they have to have EV cars look different than the rest of them? Granted, you don't have to have a big opening in the front for cooling the radiator. It's not moving. But, pardon?
It's moving.
It's moving. Okay. But this one, it does have kind of a grill-like thing. It's an air intake, but good. They put it in the front like it's supposed to be. The fastback rear hatch gives it a sports car look. The rear door handle is disguised in the C-pillar. What I liked, just the right proportions of curves that will give it extra appeal, in my opinion. What could use improvement? Nothing. Don't touch it. I think they've got a home run here. Granted, it is a small SUV. Interior highlights: dual horizontal phone chargers are superb. Yes, dual. So you can see part of it right up there. You can put 2 phones up there, one for you and one for your passenger. Isn't that nice? Huge screen on the center dash is easy to read and use. Comfortable seating, but rear legroom is a bit tight. As you can imagine, this is a subcompact. Steering wheel controls are kind of hard to read, but I've got old, tired eyes, so don't blame it on Subaru, blame it on me. As far as cargo, it's tight in the back, especially with its fastback design. So you give up a little bit of room back there in the back, but I'll tell you what, I like the whole thing. What I liked about it back there, the dial gear shift on the center console is handy, but why not use a stock style shifter on the column that would save the center console space for something else? Just saying. To me, this gets an Urban Vehicle Award. It is awesome. Engine is a 3.47 kilowatt hour high capacity lithium battery that has, drum roll please, 338 horsepower. Dude, that's a lot. It's direct drive, dual motor, front or all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive obviously is an option. Well, it got 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour over 481 miles. Now, I charged it both at home and at work, and obviously you have to charge it because it's strictly an EV, nothing but electricity there. What I liked about it, plenty of power. What could use improvement? The range, 287 miles. Now, I've got another EV that I'm driving. It'll be the third one in a row that I'm driving now. And it also, different size vehicle, but it also has 287 miles of range on it. I think that that's just kind of like, oh, well, we'll just throw it 287.
Like the cafe standard type.
Yeah,
in that
but
relation.
287 miles. But it depends on how you drive. Do you floor it a lot? Do you drive it at high speed a lot? It ain't going to do 287 miles. But for an urban vehicle, which this is classified as, in my opinion, 287 mile range should be enough for you to get around town in 1 days of driving.
Yep.
1 days.
1 days.
Not 2 days, but 1 days.
1 days.
Ride and handling, 8 inches of ground clearance gives it a true off-road look. Ride and handling, smooth ride for such a short wheelbase EV. What could use improvement? Nothing. Okay, here comes the pricing. You ready? Base trim price. Now, I had the sport model, which is middle of the road, $39,795. Price is tested, $41,720 because of some extra options on it. Base model price you can get in this vehicle, $34,995 is where it starts.
Wow.
Excluding tax, title, and license. Competitors, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Tesla Model Y, and the Mustang Mach-E. Next week, I'm going to review the Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid electric. And here's what I want to tell you about that. This is the first vehicle that I've actually made it an effort to plug it in because it's got a gasoline motor.
Yeah.
And so you plug it in and it's going to give you, I don't know, 40, 50
I was going to say
miles
about
on
50,
the battery.
55 miles, yeah.
Yeah. So I've plugged it in, and I think that you're going to be surprised by what I have found by plugging it in. This one out here is a true EV, so it has to be plugged in.
So the plug-in hybrid, that is the same relation as having a donut spare, because the donut spare tire only goes about 50, 60, maybe 70 miles. So the hybrid plug-in is basically the donut spare for the car.
But oh my gosh, what a difference it makes in the gasoline total calculations.
Yeah, gives you higher mileage.
Whew. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I have not done it in the past because it's a pain. But I've got the pain worked out. I charge it at work, and then I charge it here at the house.
Gotcha.
So I've run an extension cord. And by golly, it works. So there's that. Time now for this hour's car review. 2026 Mazda 3. This is the 4-door compact sedan. They do make a hatchback, but we'll forget that. This is the sedan. Available trim levels, the S, the Select, and the S Preferred, along with the Carbon Edition all-wheel drive, the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus. I had the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus, top of the line, compact 4-door sedan, seats 5, exterior changes minimal. It was completely redesigned in 2019, so this current design is getting a little long in the tooth. Exterior features include the Shark grille with the laid-back Aero windshield, quick back design with a small trunk lid and a small opening back there, slick wraparound headlights, 18-inch black wheels on this particular trim level, giving it a premium appearance. But I liked the overall sporty design. What could use improvement? Well, something new. A 7-year-old design. It sells. It's good, but it's time to bump it up, I think. Interior highlights. Design and quality get high marks. Small infotainment screen sits atop the dash. Minimalist control switches. They look good, but some are hard to find, the ones that you need. Front seats are comfortable, but rear ones, not so much. Small trunk room, and especially that opening back there, it's very small, so you're not going to get your big suitcase back in there. What I liked, quality materials. This is high end, really, for this kind of car and for this price. What could use improvement? The infotainment operation is still too complicated. It's the same one they've been stuck with for years.
Wow.
And I'm not a big fan. 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder engine, 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. 310 pound-feet of torque. Transmission, 6-speed automatic, 23 miles per gallon city, 32 highway for a combined of 27. I got 25.2 miles per gallon over 525 miles. Oops, 25 miles over. I'm sorry. What I liked, the plenty power for this top-of-the-line engine. One could use improvement. How about a hybrid offering for better miles per gallon? I don't know if it's possible or not, but that's a slick looking
it's a good-looking
four-door
car.
sedan. Mhm.
Right.
What I liked about it, the sporty nature of the sedan. What could use improvement for the ride and handling? Nothing. Base trim price. No, base trim price, $36,740. Prices tested $39,145, which is a lot of money for this car. But base model price, $24,550.
Oh, very good.
Hello, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Competitors, the Honda Civic starts at $24,695. This is just so weird to me when I started looking all this stuff up. I'm going, wait a minute, they're all within $1,000 of each other. Toyota Corolla starts at $22,925, and the Hyundai Elantra starts at $22,625. Isn't that bizarre? The price really comparison is between the Mazda 3 that I drove, for the base model price $24,550, and the Honda Civic for $24,695.
And you got some youngster going away to college. It might be a good first car on the base side of it.
Yeah,
Maybe 22,
if you can
23,000.
find, the base cars are hard to find.
Yeah.
They want to sell them with all the goodies on it because they make more money that way.
And
And I get it.
They're not going to Oreo one with just base. No, they probably would, but
Well, they would, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's the car review of the Mazda 3 sedan. I liked it.